Welcome to Solutions from the Yard, a candid discussion about life behind bars and its effect on society. We'll discuss reintegration or re-entry back into the community post-incarceration. Your host for this episode is Dietrich Trent.
Welcome back to Solutions from the Yard. I'm today's host, Dietrich Trent, with my two co-hosts, Charles Hopkins and Michael Dickerson-El. And our guest today is Alyce McFarland. How you doing?
I'm well, thanks.
Yes, and we're gonna continue our discussion on from inside the scope of a woman, Alyce McFarland. So earlier you were speaking on about when you was going for your degree and how you had to also have to nurture your daughter while you were striving for your degree and basically having her grow up inside of a classroom, and which is so phenomenal, right? And understanding and sharing that struggle and that journey with you. But at the same time, it was also sound like it was also a healing process, and also the cycle. You was actually reversing the cycle of the trauma that been going through and all while you was going through this nurturing, and at the same time striving to become a better person for yourself, and also being a mother and protecting your children. Explain to the audience how during that time, that trauma, how it was for you to fight through that journey and not give up, and knowing what was ahead of you and where you came from. Explain that to the audience, because that was such a powerful testimony when you spoke on that earlier.
Thank you. So when I got to Georgetown, like I said, I was 6.5 months pregnant. It was a white lady in there, Anita Massaro. She was a discharge coordinator.
Shout out to her.
Yes, but she also was a lactationist, with the person who teach people how to breastfeed. Yes. But when I met Anita when I had got there at 6.5 months, when I almost died. When I woke up in the emergency room, now mind you, because I keep it 100. When I had an abscess like the size of a head on my neck from shooting dope. And so, they say don't cut it open because you're going to die. I'm a dead devil. I was like, I wanted to die. I wanted something. I wanted to ease the pain, so I cut it open. Right. It didn't stink. It wasn't poisonous, and I ain't passed out. So I put some duct tape on and kept it moving. Right. Of course, I passed out eventually. It probably took like a month, but I passed out. And so when I passed out, I had a pocket full of money, a pocket full of dope, and I had my daughter's biological father with me. Needless to say, and he was in the ambulance with me. When I woke up in that emergency room, he was gone. My drugs was gone. My money was gone. So it was a nurse that came in, and he basically was telling me what I just said. That he left and all, and I was dying, and but the fetus inside of me was living, and if I wanted to live, then I need to change my way. Now, prior to this, I really didn't care about my life. I didn't. I knew, because I OD'd like every 3 days. I did. I woke up in the psychiatric ward. I woke up in the hospital. It wasn't, I OD'd every 3 days. So I was just trying to figure out why am I, still here. Trauma. But exactly. And so my drug addiction was a direct result of me not wanting to feel the pain of being molested. Yes. And then being shunned by my family and not understanding why when I told the truth, I was a devil that they shamed. I didn't understand that. So I began to hate myself. And because I hated myself, that's where the substance abuse came in. Yeah. And so because I hated myself, I continuously tried to kill myself daily. Mm-hmm. The people that held me accountable, the friends that I had, they were all locked up. Yes. So I had no one to love Alyce for Alyce. Right. And I definitely didn't know how to love myself. So when I was using, I was trying to, and she's heard this story, so I don't want to be blatant, whatever. I was trying to, kill her, because I had already had a miscarriage with another baby before her. that baby fell out of me inside Geraldine hallway. And after they did the DNC, I left out of Greater Southeast Hospital, walked up the street with the gown on, naked, and went and shot some more dope. That's who I was at that time. But I knew that she was living. And so then I had to change it. I had to nurture her with things that I didn't have in me. So I had to learn a different way. Because God blessed me enough that he sent her to save me.
Yeah, come on.
Wow.
So then I began to feel a little bit better about myself.
Yes.
That I was here for a purpose and a reason. It was through my journey of having my daughter. God just kept interceding on my behalf. He brought Anita. Who would have known that she was a member of a friend of Bob and Bill's, a member of Narcotics Anonymous that slid me my first Just for the Day book. A nurse at the hospital. When I decided to make a change, I called her. I couldn't call my family. I called her. So, but like I said, then Narcotics Anonymous, I have no, qualms about it, but it just wasn't for me. I went through Qatar House, which was Narcotics Anonymous, but it also was a spiritual-based program. I had to fill myself up from the inside. I had to get that connection with my high power. I had to know that who I was and who I am and whose I was. That somebody did love me. And they didn't want anything in return. And so by him doing that for me, I was able to then love her. And then be able to go back and get my son. Because I then realized that my son too needed me. Because I was under the myth that he was okay. I had forgot who I left him okay with.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like you forget these things. Trauma would let you, cloud your mind and your judgment.
Yes.
Both of my children needed me. But I held my daughter close because she was a girl. And I'm a female. And people all just because I say I was molested, I'm going to go ahead and break that down right now. I was molested by a female who initially molested me. Now then, did others come? Yes. So, don't think the same sex can't be molested because it happens. It happens more often than not. Just people don't talk about it. And so I broke that curse.
Yes.
My daughter tell you that I robbed her of her childhood because we watched Law and Order instead of cartoons. But Special Victims is what tells you, what to look for. They look like your friends. Everybody ain't your friend.
Yes.
And so I took that a little bit, but yeah. And so that trauma allowed me to turn, my trauma into triumph, but not for my life, for my daughter's life. I'm just blessed enough to be in the audience. But also, we overcompensate. And so I'm trying to get that healthy medium because I so don't want her to experience the hurt that I've experienced that, you overcompensate for certain things. But she's already, experienced some of the things. She's, gotten into some fights. People jumped her just because she show up, just because she's nice looking and she wear the nice things. So we can't never protect our children from everything.
Yes.
You just got to, equip them with the tools to deal with it when it comes.
Brother Dickerson-El?
Oh man, that's one of the things that I just wanted.
Amen.
I wanted to touch on because I'm a new father at the age of 54. That's crazy. But
that's our joke when we talk.
And I just want to know how you coming from that experience, and my experience. And our audience know my experience. How you navigate parenthood, that's one of the things that I want to ask. How you navigate that parenthood, and what you instill in your children, to make them, not go that direction. Because a lot of times, like especially in our society, like a lot of the young men, they always wind up following in their father's footsteps, heard their father was known in the streets. You know how that go. Mm-hmm. And that's what I want to know, how you navigate that, because from what I see and from what I'm hearing, daughter trying to get in the spell, but how you navigate keeping her on a positive, course and not her, wanting to dibble and dab and, just trying to, live out your life and stuff like that.
Well, you can never know what you can never understand the expectations of your children. And what I mean by that is because what we think they presenting to them, that we're presenting to them, they often hear a narrative for someone else. So I use my son for example. Now I'm talking about the substance abuse, but I was pretty, I wanted to be played with, in the street. Mm-hmm. When I was that person, because the streets raised me to be an animal. And I say that because when you keep hitting somebody, mm-hmm. you're going to hit back.
That's right.
And so, I got jumped, I got bullied, I did all that, but I got under some people that, I would never name names, but they was known to, and they taught me. And then too, it's by association. So because of people that I was associated with, because I went to jail with somebody I didn't tell, and because I would lay down and I knew how to do time, then I earned my stripes in the street. So my son would hear them stories, and stuff like that. And I believe that people expected him to be somebody that he wasn't. And what I say by that is because I've always told both my children, and I taught them not to sell drugs, not do anything like that, because, I already know where it's going to go. It's not about if, it's about when, because you're going. Whether or not they catch you, or not somebody tell them, how it happened, you going. Either you going to die or you going to jail. I don't know nobody, well, maybe like 3 out of 1,000 people that that ain't never been to jail.
I don't know too many winners.
You know what I'm saying? None. Like, come on, If if you do get out quick enough, they still might come, down the line. You legit as I don't know what. And they like, hold up, you trying to come get me from something I did in the 80s? It's 2020. But they try, so why try it? But with that being said, so you just try to, but at the end of the day, because like I said, I didn't come from that house, so nobody in my immediate family sold drugs or whatever, but yeah, I did it. And nobody in my immediate family hung out on the street, but yeah, I did it. I love being in the street. Mm-hmm. The streets was my home.
Yes, it was.
Man,
yes.
What?
Concrete University. I grew up out there.
Man.
At every degree.
And they, like the kids in today, this generation don't even know how to experience being outside. Yeah, they don't even understand the joy and the fun that it was just being outside.
That's right.
Yeah. The most you saw was somebody get the mess beat out of them. You ain't seen nobody get killed. You know what I'm saying? So, but how do I steer them away? Doing things like this is what steers my daughter away. Yes. Because I'm very transparent. I don't, can't nobody tell nothing to my son or my daughter about nothing they mother did. Because I've already told them, and what? Yes. Because how many people went through all that you went through, what I've been through. I own my own house, my own car. I have 2 degrees, and I'm not asking anybody for anything. And I'm using that to give back to the community. Mm-hmm. My community comes first. God didn't bring me this far just for my children. My mother actually shared me this. She said charity begins at home. However, she thought that she meant to my immediate home. No, my home is D.C., the District of Columbia. I'm a native Washingtonian. Yes. You would not eat my city up and I just stand beside. Mm. Yes. And I'm not doing that one. So I use my information as inspiration to others, because I've done anything that you think about that's unthinkable. I've either done it, witnessed it, or been a part of it.
Yes. Brother Charles.
Yeah, and I like that, being a native Washingtonian myself, and much like yourself, been experienced substance abuse. Talk about, let's look at your accomplishments, because you didn't come a long way. And you already laid the groundwork on where you came from. But then let's talk about where you at right now, because this is what we want to celebrate. Because at the end of the process, we want the audience to know that, it's not how you get, it's not when you're down, it's how you get up. Yes. Right? Say we fall down, but we get up. A sinner is just a savior that fell down. So we saying now, talk about your getting up. Talk about how you impacting the city, what you're doing with the city, some of your works that you're doing. Because Dietrich spoke about that, and like he said, he's your number one fan, and I think I'm gonna replace him after today.
Again, I always take it back to God. And so he put me in all the right places. In 2007, when I went to UDC, I landed in the Office of Financial Aid, and I was a work study student. And so from there, I was a financial aid counselor, an admissions counselor, recruiter, a residency coordinator. So UDC will work you like a Hebrew slave and don't pay you for it. I'm just telling you. But I use that as the beginning of it, because that's when they say about the other side of death. Mm-hmm. And so as I'm a financial aid counselor, I would see a lot of people come in that graduated from, that are native Washingtonians, and they don't have a clue, but they just know they want a way out. Right.
That's right.
And so the way out was education. Mm-hmm. And so being a social worker teach you how to be creative.
That's right.
Being a financial aid counselor teach you that it's about that bag. That's and right. So oftentimes people don't want to come in and tell the truth about what my mother locked up, my father locked up, somebody incarcerated, different things of that nature. And so, but you need that truth to fill out that financial aid document.
That's right.
And so me showing up as who I am, being very transparent, I was able to assist a lot of students with their financial aid package. Mm-hmm. Which actually being honest, and then you can still be honest and not tell at the same time. Right. You can say that, you don't have to say that both my parents incarcerated. You could just say that I received SNAP, I received TANF, or that I'm an unaccompanied minor. Different things of that nature. It's more than one way to skin a cat, but you need to, and so I use my social work degree to understand or how to observe those nonverbal cues, to hear what's not being spoken, but to read your body language and say that you really got something to tell me, right. But you don't, and so, but I just show up and I just start telling a little bit of my story and be like, well, I'm from, you just got to throw out a hood. Once you read the address, you be like, oh, yeah. And then they feel more comfortable, that. And so, fast forward to where I am today, I left UDC in 22. God blessed me with the opportunity to work at the Office of the Tenant Advocate, which again, I deal with underserved, populations. And I'm a program analyst, but I do education and outreach. So I go, and me personally, I like to go where don't nobody want to go.
That's right.
So, 7, 8, anywhere you want, I'm going. Because again, I want to be able to identify those nonverbal cues for you can sit up there, for somebody to feel comfortable enough and tell me, well, listen, my mother don't have no hot water or no heat, and she got rats. But the reason why she don't want to say it is because she on drugs. One thing has nothing to do with the other.
That's right.
You are guaranteed. You are, it's your right to live in habitable conditions. It has nothing to do with what you're doing recreationally.
Right.
So we're gonna have to help you navigate through this process and dissuade your fears and know what you'll do.
That's right.
Because one thing, just because I shot dope and smoked coke don't mean that I can't. That I'm not, that I can't have an education, right. That I can't live in good housing conditions, right. That I have to live in a hallway, or that I need to be subjected to certain things.
That's right.
And then by me sharing this kind of information, people in my community was like, well, you need to run for ANC commissioner. I was like, huh?
Yes.
What's that?
Yes, right.
That means you want me to stand up for a whole community? All right, God. So, it's right. God, he didn't, again, he did not clean me up, dress me up, and because do I look like that I shot dope for 10 years straight? Okay, no, yeah. Man. Do I look like I smoked coke for 6 years straight? No, man. But I can't show up that way and affect the audience this way. Mm-hmm. So I show up how I am and tell them, and then if they need to know, look at my neck. You know what I'm saying? Different things like that. Like I got the marks.
Right.
But the marks don't define me.
That's right.
And so I use those opportunities to be an ANC commissioner, to be an education and outreach specialist, to come to opportunities as this, and to be on grant making teams. The grant making team that I'm on now, that I got to go to in a few minutes, is to ensure that community based organizations and nonprofit organizations receive the funds that they need so they can impact and empower the communities that they want to serve. For example, all the things that we said in my bio, recidivism, trauma. I'm big on trauma because I believe everybody has a trauma that they are, recovering from. Now, whether or not they identify it, whether or not they actually say it with they mouth, and I'm gonna say everybody, but I'm speaking about Washington D.C., native Washingtonians. Growing up in this city, you survived some trauma.
That's right.
And and in surviving the trauma, we've taught to just get along to get on. No, heal the mind, the body, and the spirit so you can be a better person and then heal someone else. Because if I'm still broken, then I'm raising broken children.
Well put.
Yes. I just want to say you are a true friend to Solutions on the Yard. I'm over here smiling because she is someone I see in the community doing the work. So, and I'm listening to her story, and I'm just amazed at some of the struggles you had to overcome and the trials and tribulations in life, and you still climbing, and you still here standing on two and moving forward. You have a wonderful family. Yes, and we thank you for coming to Solutions from the Yard. And with that being said, our friend, our Phoenix, Alyce McFarland.
The definition of solution.
Thank you.
Yes.
And because I just want to give a shout out to both of y'all.
Yes.
So, and just be very transparent, because when you can feel, genuine people and good spirits, right? I didn't know these dudes from a can of paint. Now, we come from the same cloth,
Yes,
and we have experienced the same things, but, they've been in, and while they were in, I was surviving. I was actually in the grip, and so we missed each other, and so it's just so us being out there in community and doing the work that we do, kindred spirits united. And it wasn't, and it was just like, and they made me feel open enough to come and ask them for help. So they saying that I'm here today, but they actually gave me help and hope, when it came to different things that I was dealing with when it came to my son. Because again, I don't know how to navigate that. I ain't a man. I'm his mother. I'm going to stand 10 toes down. I'm going to be there for him regardless of what. But help me to help him. And that's, and then we all here, we got our good government badges on and stuff, I'm not, we doing what we got to do. And I'm like, he got a little different swag about him. Let me see if I can just pull up and ask him a couple of questions. And then, and so they exposed, and then we were, so then we were able to, drop that, let the shoulders down a little bit. And then, engage each other and meet each other where we are, and I'm appreciative of that for both of y'all. So thank you.
Yes, we're going to clap that up. We're going to clap that up. So thank you, Ms. Alyce McFarland. Yes. We out.
You've been listening to Solutions from the Yard. This podcast is presented by Voices for a Second Chance, a comprehensive reentry program that provides culturally appropriate, trauma-informed, gender-specific, and peer-based services. For more information, go to info@vscdc.org or visit our website at www.vscdc.org.